What it do? What it do? Off the
And
cuff
believe
Fridays.
it, and believe it or not, guess who pulled up? Our guest of the night. One of the top-notch lyricists from the LBC Crew and the West Coast itself. He rocked with Hoo Bangin. He rocked with Snoop Dogg, LBC Crew. He rocked with the BlackWallStreet gang. Now he's doing this thing for Dolo. So let's all welcome our guest of the evening, Mr. Techniec.
Yeah.
What's good, family?
What's going on,
man? What's good, man? Had me concerned, son.
Hey, man. Hey, that's my bad, man. It was some confusion with the 6s and the 9s, man.
Yeah, I said the same thing, because I did that earlier. I remember when we had your man Badass up there a long time ago. I did the same thing. And I started, like, something's going on here. Something ain't right here. So then he called me later on, like, yo, we on for the show.
Everybody was tuned in.
That was my bad, too, man.
Definitely.
Yeah,
look,
no doubt, man.
Definitely,
yes, sir,
man.
man. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
That's right, brother.
Techniec, this T-Max from VA, man. Glad to have you on with us, man. I mean,
hey, man, it's an honor, bro, on everything, man. I've been getting, getting hit with the pieces, man, the memorabilia and the shots of the, the show and prove from the Double XL and all that, man. That's love, man. You know what I'm saying? Dudes got those pieces in their archives.
Definitely, man. Shout out to Double XL. I've been an avid reader of them since 1997, and that September 2000 Birdman issue was where I was able to find that, and also that Thicker Than Water soundtrack too, man. I mean, your history is long as distinguished coming from the LBC, and it's not only for Long Beach City, but it also means living by codes too, and you're definitely one of the truest. To do it, man. So, I mean, tell our audience a little bit about yourself in terms of, how you started out, you know what I'm saying, where you're from, and just, basically your history.
Yeah, man, born and raised, organic LBC, man. We didn't watch I had the privilege to bear witness to a lot of the rise of the West Coast dynasty and also be a part of it, you know what I'm saying? So, that's pretty much my history, man. I'm as long as the beach, man. We've been here since the beginning of this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? From the whole Death Row dynasty to everything that came afterwards. So, you know what I mean? I've been real studious to the West Coast movement.
Coming from the West Coast, man, you come from a long line of distinguished MCs. I mean, of course, we know about Snoop Dogg. We know about Warren G. But there's also Trey D, Goldie Loc, the Twins, Dove Shat, and of course, Doggy's Angels, shout out to Cola Loc, and a girl.
Right.
And also, we're seeing a new resurgence as well in terms of guys like, P. Nice and Stupid Young. So, I mean, LBC throughout the years is still churning them out, man. I mean, y'all definitely put an indelible brand, in the land, the CA on the left side, keeping it riding, man. I mean, but you're one of the elder statesmen now from where you started. A lot of people don't know this, and some may know this, that you actually made your official debut going back, first record review, I believe. Your first song, I believe, was that was Best Beware My Crew. That was off Thin Line Between Love and Hate soundtrack in 1996, and then on Snoop Dogg's sophomore effort, The Dog Father, that's when you made your appearance on that as well. So how did you end up hooking up with Snoop Dogg?
Well, I mean, just coming from the city, man, whoever stands up, I mean, now I could look back in retrospect and see this, but when you stand up and you voice, your voice start, yelling loud enough, guys are going to hear, they're going to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how that was. We were, doing the ciphers and the freestyles at the high schools, before we had the cameras on the cell phones to capture it, we was way ahead of that groove right there. So we was hitting high schools and, the battling and all that with the Dynamic Certified. That was my crew. So from there, man, it got, the information got in the right hands. You know what I'm saying? I consider my uncles, Big C Style, who was the co-founder of the Dogg Pound. He brought us to the table. You know what I'm saying? And the way Snoop did it, and I'm quite sure he do it now, it's like gladiator school, man. He'd throw, oh, y'all claim y'all the dopest, y'all the hottest, all right, go lay a verse. So, you got 10 people in a room, man, and it's only 3 spots. You know what I'm saying, on the song. Everybody might lay a verse, but, the majority coming off of there. If it ain't right. So I was able to hang with the likes of, Frady, Badass, you know what I'm saying, Lil C Style, Corrupt, Dad, you know what I'm saying. We did those moves, and, they respected the style early on.
And you know what's crazy, bro, is the protocol to getting down back then, like, your blades had to be sharp, your swords had to be ready to swing, because it was a blood sport back in the day. It won't like you just have a hit song and you just get on YouTube and you blow up. You had to really, if you want to get down on the team, you had to show and prove, brother.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you a very clear distinction between then and now. You couldn't get on a record sounding like another man. That wasn't going to work. You had to sound like yourself. It was all about establishing your identity, you know what I'm saying, early on. So, those distinguished voices that you hear on Beware of My Crew, those were the ones that stood out amongst the masses, you know what I'm
saying? Definitely. Now, as you progress, you know what I'm saying, because Snoop was already a certified legend by then as you came in the game. So, I mean, as you're actually around these guys and you're really being able to, like, really be part, of that wave, man, how did it feel to be amongst, like, everybody and really understanding, like, yo, all this stuff that I did in terms of being in the ciphers and everything, like, this is coming to fruition, that I'm actually being recognized, as, not only, a dope artist, but being equal with the individuals that I'm rapping with. How did that feel?
Honestly, bro, when you're young, you're not really thinking about that. For myself, I'm 15, 16 years old, so our whole thing was just like we was living in the moment, you know what I'm saying? We was more so just caught in the moment, like, yo, we supposed to be here. Me and my homies, we laughed not too long ago. We didn't see life past 20, 21. We wasn't preparing for our future like that, you feel me? So we was just, caught in the moment and really doing our thing. That's what we love to do, MC. And that's something that's been, you know what I'm saying, that's just been a part of it. So whether it was industry or not, or just in the ciphers, we was going to do it regardless. So, it didn't really dawn until, I ain't going to front, until I started having children and my kids started seeing the works and like, yo, that's you? Like, then it became, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we was on some shit at that time, huh?
Now, when you first ever heard your song on the radio, when you first ever saw your video play, did you get that feeling like you wanted to jump out of a window, or what was that feeling like when you first heard your joint on the radio and people going crazy over it?
It was dope, man. You know what I'm saying? It was dope because, at the time, we felt we was the dopest out, man. So, like, we was really believing and living that shit, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like, yeah, we supposed to be on the radio, you know what I mean? Like, we supposed to. So, you're a young kid. Shit definitely had you fired up, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, my junior high and high school years was pretty lit.
Yeah, man. And, it's crazy because you also had a lot of young MCs, around that time, too. You were 16, 17 at the time doing your thing. Also, you had Crooked Eye, doing this thing as well. So you
right.
both were, like, two of the young guns out in the West who were, like, really, like, just tearing it up, man. I don't know. It's something about the West Coast, man, to where y'all level of lyricism, you always committed yourself to the craft of consummate composition in terms of being the complete MC in every way. And obviously, from your acumen, from what you authored, that also will lay the foundation for you being signed to Doggy Style Records, I believe.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this. So now you're actually looking from the perspective of, you're on a label, you're actually on the record, and now you're actually signed to a label. What did you learn from being on the label, and what would you tell artists today in terms of signing on to a label?
I mean, in today's day and age is actually what we fought for as youngins, and it had to really come to me. I can say historically, I'm probably one of the youngest MCs to come out of the West Coast. Period. You know what I'm saying? As far as pioneering, just on some MC shit, because that's lyrically, it wasn't too many of us, so that was kind of like a uphill fight in itself, even with dealing with record labels. Because, at the time, the West Coast gangster rap was so big that's what they wanted everybody to have on, you know what I'm saying, khakis and bandanas and Pendletons and shit. And we kind of fought against that to a certain degree. Like, I was willing to compromise, but it wasn't really a break because after all, we was organically coming up in the hood of some real wild shit. So our whole thing was to escape that, to get in the game, to get in the game to escape the streets. Not to get into the industry or get into the game to try to replicate the shit that's going on in the streets. Like, that wasn't cool to us, you know what I'm saying? Getting money coming out of the situation, putting our family on, giving better opportunities, those were the objectives. Now, to answer the question on how that was different from how it is now, artists don't necessarily need record companies. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a matter of how strong your hustle is and how long you're willing to grind it out till you get your just due. You know what I'm saying? So it was a different thing. Back then we kind of had to deal with the record companies or, you know what I'm saying, the distribution. It was a different type of setup then than it is now because we were dealing with more physical CDs and albums and CDs and more tangible pieces. Now it's just a matter of if your content is going to stand up next to the next man, the platform and the playing field is more even now. So it's I would say, for the new artists, there's really no restrictions. You don't got to worry about, the record company trying to make you into something, some kind of business model that worked for them before, and they're trying to duplicate it. You know what I'm saying? Historically, you have to come kind of from the gangster rap umbrella in order to be successful in music. And, for me, music is such a wide spectrum. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself into just one thing. We do whatever we feel like doing when it comes down to musically.
And how many records estimate do you think you guys recorded from that 95, 96 period? Do y'all ever have plans of having that record put out through Death Row Records?
Well, there is a record, Haven't You Heard, that dropped on this new version of Death Row. You know what I'm saying? And it had a bunch of vaulted pieces on there. I don't know if y'all caught that one, but it was a lot of those vaulted pieces from that era that they did put out. However, man, it's countless, bro. It's countless. We spent summers in the studio working and coming up with new material. So it's a lot of material that got that's in those vaults over there.
And you know what's ill though, considering now that Death Row is now owned by a toy company. Who knows? We might hear y'all music on G.I. Joe, Mickey Mouse, you know what I'm saying? We might hear y'all joints played on the next Spider-Man. I mean, the sky's the limit.
Hey, yeah, man, they could put that shit on Arthur if they want, man, or the next Door to Explore or something, man, as long as they cut that check.
Man, that's crazy. Now, of course,
right.
Everybody. Now, of course, you was down with Snoop and everything, and this was around, 96, 97. And then, of course, everybody knows about what happened with his leaving Death Row and going to No Limit. How did your contractual situation change upon Snoop leaving, Death Row? Was that arrangement in terms of you being aligned with him directly under the Death Row umbrella, where that was null and voided once you once he left? Or tell us all about that.
Yeah, we were never LBC Crew. We were never officially like signed under like Death Row or anything. We dealt directly with Snoop and Big C Style through Doggy Style Records, which later on went to the East Siders.
Right.
We Trey Techniec and Lil C Style was the original East Siders. And then from that point, that's where we decided to, I wind up, negotiating a situation with Mac 10, and we did Hoo Bangin Priority from there. And
got you.
It was just at a time where it was so much going on. It was a lot of confusion, you know what I'm saying, and it was just more so a move that needed to be made at that time in order for me to still stay afloat and continue to, make music and put music out during that time.
Got you. Now, when you were on when you signed with Mac 10, he had dropped Thicker Than Water, of which you appeared on 4 tracks. One of which was LB 2000, Who Got Some Gangsta Shit, with Mac 10,
right.
And it was basically a posse cut. Then you had the joint with Soul Trae, Do You Want to Get With This? And then, of course, the joint you did with Boo Capone, Mashing and Smashing. I mean, you really showed out on that album. And one thing about it, and me and King, talk about this all the time, is that, that album, because this is in 99, so this is kind of coming off of like four years of the East Coast, West Coast wars, and a lot of people, we talk about this. That album, that soundtrack, that movie kind of was the unofficial announcement, in sense of how the truth came to be, with, Fat Joe and Mac 10 coming together. But on that soundtrack, there were so many people. I mean, you had Memphis Bleak. I mean, you had, Fat Joe. I mean, you had, Pun, Terror Squad. You had Pun. I mean, it was like from all over. I mean, what was it like just seeing all those people? You know what I'm saying? How was it to see everybody on the label like that?
Well, that was my hats off to Mac 10 and Fat Joe for that move. That was definitely them and their camaraderie, using their influence to bring all of those guys together during such a turbulent time. You know what I'm saying? You got to think it wasn't too far before we had lost Big, and prior to that we lost Pac. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was real tender in the industry, even going to New York, being from the West Coast, and, vice versa. So, it was good. It was super dope that those guys, kind of really extended the olive branch to each other. And it was from that it branched out. Like, even if you listen to the Recipe album, that album had so many different features, from Foxy Brown to ODB. Like, it was a lot of, it was really a bridge that was created between Fat Joe and Mac, and they really worked on, bridging that East Coast, West Coast gap. I don't think he get enough credit for that.
Definitely.
Yeah, because Hoo Bangin Hoo Bangin had a squad.
Yeah, man. I mean, you had comrades. I mean, all from the eye. I mean, Children of the Ghetto. I mean, but you had, I think one of the standout cuts, of many, had to be, gangbang shit, though, because when you see all them niggas on it, with Mac 10 saying I mean, when you're seeing, everybody from Queen Street to Tragnew, mean, to just everybody coming together, like, Mac, man. So it's like, everybody, I mean, this was like a joyous time because, like Mac was saying, on the intro, it's like, man, it's like the motherfucking Truths of 9-2 on this,
Right.
And, of course, you had J.O. Felony up there, too, representing San Diego. So it's like, I mean, this was, I don't think people really look at that album and give enough credit for, I mean, how many people were on it. And, I mean, just the sheer numbers, but some people, when they do albums at times, it can be a some people just look at it as trying to do an album and just get people on it. But the fact is, people on that record, that whole soundtrack was banging from front to back. You know, I mean, there was no filler material. And I mean, you shined on your 4 tracks. I mean, you starred out on that. I mean, when you realized you were kind of getting a major feature up there, how did that feel? That like you were kind of being highlighted?
Yeah. Nah. Max showed a lot of love, man. He showed a lot of love, and his whole thing was, man, get on that motherfucker and go. That's what he used to tell me, you know what I'm saying? Just go, you know, and that's what I did, you know what I'm saying? Like, I caught it, you know. I was a hitman for the most notorious crime bosses at the time, you know what I mean? That's how I treated it lyrically. But nah, you know, it was definitely an honor, man, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these guys were already seasoned. They were already acclimated in the music industry, and I was just trying to get mine on, you know what I mean? Just trying to find my spot.
Now, you had also have recorded your debut album called 18 and Over. What was going on with this? What happened with that in terms of, you know, the issues with its release, in terms of, you know, all the business pertaining to that?
Well, you know, it's politics, man. It's industry politics, man. You know, and that's just really what it comes down to. You know what I mean? You got to think also at that time you were dealing with a lot of people don't realize that.
What's good, man? Like King Gary the Great, Off the Cuff Radio, showing you some love, man.
You know what I mean? So Priority been an independent, you know, they ultimately got sold to Capital.
Trying to do the whole Beyonce deal. I got a show going right now.
Capital, I don't know if it was deliberate or they were just not really feeling the hip hop thing at the time. But it was a major transition, and a lot of people got swallowed up in that corporate takeover. So that project kind of was like, you know, caught in the mix of it.
Gotcha. And I think that's something that a lot of people got to understand too in terms of the industry, because you know, in terms of hold on one sec.
My thoughts about it is, I feel that this respect is kind of like something very important for a guy like Lord Jamar, because Lord Jamar, he's out there, but I feel that he earned that centerpiece to really lay his opinion down. Like, this guy, he's been part of brand movement. He's been taking part of the culture. He's been speaking up for the culture. So he has a right to his opinion. He has a right to lay down a respectful opinion. And I feel what he said about Eminem. A lot of people probably say that he's taking on Eminem, but I feel it's a good critical analyst. But he deserves his position to be able to speak his piece based off the fact that he partakes in the 5 elements like DJing, repeating, speaking to 5%ers, knowledge. He deserves that right to have a voice. And I think he's also off the case where he's upset that Eminem didn't recognize his record yet. So not because of the bars. He's there with a lot of the stands. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, with a lot of the fans out there, especially when.
Can you hear me?
Yo.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yo.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right.
You're on. All right, just making sure. You can hear me. Testing. 1, 2. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Like I was. Yeah. It looks like we got a little bit of technical difficulty going on.
Check their top 5, and they got people like, let's say, Lil Wayne, and Eminem, and people that just, just coming out, 9 times out of 10, they just now looking to get that picture.
Okay. All right. I think we got it straight. Can you hear me?
Yo.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. Back up. We back and running. Yeah, like I was saying. Yeah, but like you said, with the politics of the game and whatnot, because a lot of times artists get on and they think that pretty much it's going to just be a situation, you're going to make it. And things happen.
I love chopping up with y'all.
Yeah.
Man,
well, it's definitely a learning of the business. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, we stand on our own too. We make music how we see fit, when we see fit. And the fans, we get the feedback from the people, and we building it from that standpoint. You know what I'm saying? It's always been with me, direct interaction with my fans. And, at this point, it's just a matter of we didn't cross our T's, dotted our I's, got our brand up and running, and it's just time to drop material. So hopefully, we ain't missed a beat over time.
And, listening to a lot of, the stuff you have, tell us about some of the stuff you have out now, because from what I've heard, you ain't lost a step in terms of, your lyrical, gymnastics. And, at a time where social media shenanigans seem to be the template for celebrity, you and a lot of other MCs have always remained true being who you are by sticking to the craft of just being MCs. What's the key to keeping your lyrical sword sharp for all this time, in terms of rap longevity?
Every Friday night.
I mean, I say it like this, man. It's in, it's not on it. You know what I'm saying? Either you could do it or you can't do it. You know what I mean? We didn't get in the game we was already rappers when we came in the game. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, see, this is a quick way to make money. I got to figure out how to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different thing. This is a craft that we love to do, just on GP.
Right.
So.
Right.
We was gonna do it regardless. So I don't, it's like me listening to KRS, or I was listening to a freestyle from Big Daddy Kane the other day on his Instagram and whatnot, and I'm like, yo, that's what this dude's a machine. He's designed to, put them words together and talk that shit. So it's that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I'm back, y'all. I'm back, y'all. What I missed out on? My apology. I'm back, y'all.
Yo, it's
you
all
good, man. Yeah, we were just talking about in terms of the game in reference to, from, being on Hoo Bangin to, about his album that's supposed to come out that didn't get released and everything, and just, how the business works in general in terms of what's going on with it here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what? Because you know what? It's crazy. I was watching a little bit of TV while I was taking care of a phone call.
What's up, baby?
And I want to shoot Techniec this question here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I want to shoot you this question here, bro. Like, first of all, are you a sports head?
You say what?
Are you a sports head? Like, you follow sports?
You know what? Actually, I'm not, bro. You know what I mean? To be honest, keep it a whole buck with you, I'm not. And I got athlete children. You know what I'm saying? But I've always been a creative, a art head. You know what I mean? That's the shit that I be on most of the time. But I tap in at times. Like I'm the dude that's gonna tap in right before the playoffs. I'm trying to see who performed it. You know what I mean? But I'm not the start of the season to the end of the season type sports dude.
Yeah, the reason why I asked, man, because you have a cut with Badass on the WWE joint that came out in 2000. It was like for the New Age Outlaws. Now, I was asking, are you a wrestling fan or you just did that for priority?
That was presented to me. I wasn't really a wrestling. I have my guys. Don't get me wrong, man. Like from the old school, like you know what I'm saying. Back in the Ric Flair, Coco Beware, Ultimate Warrior type shit. You know what I mean? So we came up on it. You know, we used to try and learn the moves so we could use them on the homies. But that was presented to us at Priority, bro. One of the A&Rs, and I thought it was real dope with me and Badass being able to do like a tag team type thing on the verse. So that's crazy because that thing actually went gold. I got a gold plaque from that.
Yeah, and this was around the time where wrestling was at its apex. Like, everybody was buying the Stone Cold shirts and the Rock shirts, the DX shirts, and it was the perfect time to merge hip-hop, because hip-hop was, you know, flourishing at that point, too. So it was the best time to merge it both together.
Right, definitely.
Now, in terms of, you know, the parallels between hip-hop, you know, and pro wrestling, because both are entertainment at their core, but you have to be skilled at it. How do you compare the two in terms of, you know, what you do in reference of delivering your best performance? Because when we look at modern day hip hop, you know, rap music as it's progressed, we definitely see a lot of that wrestling influence in terms of, you know, the raw brassness of Stone Cold, you know, the slick talking, you know, high flying, jet setting, trendsetter, you know, playboy like Ric Flair, you know, and
definitely.
then you just got the brolics, you know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then you got just the brolic, you know, backbreakers like, you know, Lex Luger putting niggas in the torture rack who whack. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
How do you see how they parallel with each other?
I mean, it's spot on right now. You know what I mean? It's you know, you look at battle rap. You know what I mean? It gets as close as it can get to wrestling, because your whole thing is to annihilate your opponent. You know what I'm saying? But are you really not physically hurting them? You know what I'm saying? But you killing them like crazy with the bars, and that's kind of how wrestling is. It's like, you know, they're around there, they throwing each other around, but them dudes is gymnasts. You know what I'm saying? They not hurting each other really. You know, they just doing a bunch of shit that look and sound good. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Now, one thing about it, Techniec, is that, and I found this very, very, very much a very sobering, you know, and refreshing, you know, truth that you gave us about how you said, you know, growing up in LBC, you know what I'm saying, it's like, you know, East Side, you know what I'm saying, everybody knows that there's some real shit going on out there, man. And when you said y'all got into the game, your object of it was to escape it, as opposed to really celebrating, you know, and bragging about the violence that goes on. You all wanted to take that as an opportunity to expand your skills on a broader scale that was more than just, you know, gangster rap music. Where we see a situation now with a lot of artists who try to revel in, you know, street life, and a lot of them do live it, you know, but a lot of them also exaggerate it and have never lived it and really don't understand the perils, the pitfalls, you know, what really goes on the concrete jungle, you know, within up 6 feet beneath the pavement getting put down.
Right.
What is your opinion of a lot of the artists out here who try to glorify, you know, unnecessarily a lot of the violence? Because there is a difference between simply telling what's going on in the hood and then unnecessarily, you know, broadcasting, you know, violent escapades.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, we're in a time right now. We're standing in a reality TV era. You know what I mean? Like, you know, at least for the last 10, 15 years, the perception of anything that you're seeing is from a reality standpoint. No matter how fabricated it might be, you know, it looks real from the onset. Like when you're looking at TV and you're seeing, you know, hip-hop, Love and Hip-Hop, and, you know, all of these reality shows, it tends to take that form on to where, you know, guys got to put on that outfit. But the thing is, whatever you wear, you got to wear it, man. Whatever you represent, that's who you actually are, and you got to deal with it on and off the camera. So for those guys who prepared to deal with that life outside of the cameras, then, you know what I mean, it is what it is, because that comes with real real shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you want to be real. It can get as real as you want it to get. You know what I mean? That's just the world that we living in now. So, I mean, I think we got enough examples now of really how you should be moving when it comes down to this game, you know, or how you should be utilizing your art platform, you know. But then, you know, we got examples of, you know, art imitating life, and it happens on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? So I think the smoke and mirrors is not there anymore. You know what I mean? Whoever you say you are, that's what you need to be. You know what I mean? We call it the revelation of God. You know what I'm saying? Because the closer we get to whatever the so-called revelation is, you know what I mean, it's harder for things to hide in the shadows. If you're not a G, it's going to come out and show that you're not really about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got Takashis and all kind of shit. You know, it's good. You know, it look good. All that shit look good. You know what I'm saying? Until the boys come and grab you up, then that's when it's time to be gangster. I was taught that, you know what I'm saying, it's easy to be something when shit is going all good, but your character is really going to be tested when it's all bad.
And that's real.
Yeah, you start really seeing the true nature of these guys. You start seeing, okay, you're a gangster when the records are selling. Now things ain't selling. You start getting eviction notices. The label about to drop it. You gonna keep that gangsters in, or you're gonna go into some other lane.
Yeah, and I mean, it becomes a matter of survival. You know, it's ups and downs and everything, and you know what I'm saying. You got to be able to live your life transparent like that. Like, man, we didn't have some good runs, we didn't have some bad runs, but it was through those trials that you gain that testimony to be able to really talk that real shit. Like, you know, I can't sit here and fabricate too much of nothing, you know. I done had it, lost it, got it back again, lost it, got it back again, you know what I'm saying? So you start realizing, you know, you start looking at life a little bit different, you know what I mean?
Definitely. Now, you know, definitely. I think also, too, a lot of times, because we see a lot of rappers, you know, talking about, you know, what they got in terms of the finances and everything. And you were on the front lines of it in terms of really, you know, at a time, you know, for where it was flourishing. In terms of artists taking care of their finances, how important is that in terms of when, you know, you're riding, and this is just in general, when you're riding with a crew, but then, you know, there's going to be those times where things change up and then you're going to have to budget a little bit tighter because, you know, business has changed. What advice would you give the artists in terms of that, in terms of making sure that their business is straight in terms of long term, financially?
Hey, bro, honestly, bro, I had to do that through trial and error. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's lifestyle, every individual's lifestyle is different. Every one of our needs on this phone might be a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So It comes down to you being financially responsible for yourself first. You know what I'm saying? Like, you making sure that you keeping money in your pocket for yourself. And then, you know, when you start dealing with business, you know, you bring your terms to the table, they bring their terms to the table. If it's something that y'all can, you know, meet halfway on, then boom, we got business. We got an agreement. If we can't come to terms, then, you know, that's not a good business move. We got to move on to something else. But I think, my OG told me, man, look, man, you call yourself building a house, man, without no tools, you ain't going to get far. So you got to have your own tools. You got to bring your own tool belt and all of that shit to the table, man, when you ready to build something. So that's kind of what my advice I would give to anybody. Bring more to the table than just a spoon and a fork. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really gotta be self-contained, because it's gonna be you're gonna go on a ride, and while you on that ride, bro, you gotta make sure that you got your back at all times.
Definitely. Now, in terms of the business aspect of it, how do you see it change now in terms of what the deal you signed, where there wasn't a 360 back in the day, and it was pretty much straight line, as to where now you have 360s, you know, and everybody, you know, these labels that are like getting these big, like, like chunks out of, everything an artist does. Where back in the day it was pretty much this is what you're getting and, we go from there with it. How do you feel about that paradigm shift for the practices now?
Well, I mean, I think, at this point you can't just be an artist. That's out. Like if you come to the business, it's just that, the music business. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be an artist. If you're an artist, you're just a sheep. You're gonna go wherever the wind blows you. You know what I'm saying? But if you got your business already intact, then you're gonna sit down and you're gonna do actual business. So I mean, hopefully that answers the question. But it's different now than before. It was one of those things back then. Getting signed meant something, like, oh, I'm signed. And even to this day, getting signed means something, don't get me wrong. But on the same note, the ones that are having longevity are the, God bless the man with child who has his own. You know what I mean? You got to bring something to the table for yourself. Have a foundation for yourself established before doing business in the industry, I feel.
Yeah, that's man.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. And while speaking of being like signed to people, now, were you originally gonna sign with BlackWallStreet, and when you was getting down with Game, like from 2005 to 2006?
That was definitely on the table. It never made it to that point. Obviously, I was a little bit, wiser by that time, just going through the trials and errors of the music business. So, at that particular time, we presented what we wanted. They presented what they were offering. And, I give a lot of props to Game because me and him was more so on a handshake and a word. And we kept it moving. And, he showed a lot of love in that sense. But when it got down to the business aspect, this is probably a mistake on my part, but when you're trying to make moves as an artist, it's kind of hard to do that when you're dealing with the artist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The business kind of gets tricky because you're dealing with an artist. Not only am I dealing with an artist, but I'm dealing with a big artist. This he's gone. You know what I'm saying? He's out of here. He's 3, 4, 5 million records in. You know what I'm saying? So he has to focus on that part of it. On the same note, he's trying to, develop a brand of his own. Well, the Game brand was much bigger than the BlackWallStreet brand at that time.
Right.
So it was not like, I think that run was necessary for what it was. We had words and, it was a decision to go ahead and do the BlackWallStreet, the projects, the mixtapes, and all of that. But obviously, it just wasn't. It wasn't good just doing the whole artist thing again. And in most cases, like from Snoop was an artist. Mac 10 was an artist. Game was an artist. I was an artist coming up under these guys. So I learned. Where I stand right now is based on a lot of things that I learned from them and going through those processes. They were geared for the majors. I never really was a major guy. Like I met these guys off the concrete. I didn't meet them in record companies. You see what I'm saying? I really come from Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? So, Big Face from Compton, I pulled up on Brazil and Wilmington. Compton's right up the street from me. Hey, what's up? We pull up. It wasn't like an A&R contacted us and put us together or nothing like that. It was real organic street shit.
And Tech, that's something I think a lot of people really don't understand because I think as we've seen throughout the years in reference to artists diversifying their portfolio and business, being a CEO of a label, helming your own label is tricky because, like you said, and me and King, Sam and Chinchilla, we talk about this on air and off the air. It is a situation where you have to have that acumen of understanding the contracts. You have to know your budgets. You know, like you said, this is more than being an artist, just writing rhymes. You have to be in charge of your day-to-day business in terms of making sure that everything is taken care of, you know, and also it means you are an executive, which means depending on your distribution, you're sitting in with these, you know, you're sitting in with other label executives, you know, the suits, and you're trying to make sure all this business is appropriated right for your artist as well as yourself. And that's a lot of hats to wear, no matter how talented, no matter how savvy somebody is, because intelligence, you know, is something that you have, but it's how that intelligence can be applied in other aspects. You know, and
a
you
lot
know,
of
we've
times,
seen,
man, you know, like even with the young artists, a lot of these guys, they're giving, you know, they give them a little bit too much slack, man. We young guys coming out of the inner cities, you know, we get an opportunity and a platform to really voice our skills and our talents. You know, that's the focus right there. You know what I mean? They're not looking behind them at, you know, as far as the business and this and that. You know, that's why, like, you know, I remember Mac telling me one time, he said, look, man, he said, rappers are rich, MCs are broke. You know, we kind of chuckled about it, but, you know, it was a reality because MCs are doing it for the craft a lot of the times. Rappers are doing it to get the check. So they're going to do whatever they need to do just to get that bag. You know what I'm saying? They're not really committed to the art form in that sense. So that's what we're seeing the difference in, you know, a lot of who stayed around and who's not. Like for us, man, I'm fresh off camera. You know what I'm saying? I really, you know, I always been kind of like a camera shy dude. I like playing around in the studio. Shit, me and the homies like getting fresh, man, new kicks, fresh clothes, you know, nice cars, hooking our shit up, painting them, lows. I'm building a 6'4" right now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's life outside of, you know, being in front of the camera on the radio every day.
You know, and that's really something refreshing to hear, man, because I think a lot of times for a lot of artists, we don't see enough of them in their personal lives. Not that we want to be prying and being nosy, but to just see an artist as a regular person, to know that you're not monolithic, that you have other interests outside of music, you know, and I think that's always, we get so caught up in the image and what the media portrays that I think a lot of times, you know, the public forgets that these are people first. These are, you know, husbands. These are wives. These are mothers. These are fathers. This is somebody's child. This is someone's brother, a sister, a cousin, a grandchild. You know, these are people who have things going on in their lives, and they have things that really are an escape for them. Like you said, you know, you're all about, you know, customization on the whips, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, from 8 to 16 to 24 switches. I mean, it's like, you know, and that's the thing. You know,
man, I was born a low rider, man. My pops was a low rider. So, you know, I come up from the whole thing, man. I literally, my mom went to the hospital in a 65 Chevy Impala, bro. That was under construction.
Look,
you know what I mean?
check. Then you said lowriders. We got to shout out, you know, we got Off the Cuff Radio. We got to take some time to shout out some of the car clubs out, you know, in Los Angeles. We see y'all.
Yeah.
You know, the original.
Word.
Man,
you know, we watching, man, the Majestics, man, the individual. I mean, there's so
original,
many to keep his name, you know what I mean? Beat City.
The originals,
is
Mafia
home.
for life. Yeah.
Word. So every last one of them, man. It's a million car clubs, but everybody representing their section. I'm trying to get out there by summer 2020, man. I got a long road ahead of me on my build.
That's what it is, man. So this
but hey, I don't know if y'all had a chance to check out that new video, man, from Crooked Eye. I'm starring in that, the Life of a Bandana. It's a real strong message behind that, man. So,
man,
yeah.
Crooked has been so consistent, man. He's probably one of the most overlooked rappers in the industry right now.
Word. But I mean, not for long, man. You know, they just called your bro up, man, and you know, got me in his latest video. So that just dropped today. So I want to put everybody on notice, man. The new Crooked Eye video, Life of a Bandana, co-starring Techniec, and you know, I got my acting role up in there.
That's what the dope.
Man. I mean, but this is just such a beautiful. Go ahead, King. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna shoot this to Tech too, man. Now, we also celebrate the life of Tupac Shakur today. I mean, it's been like 23 years since he passed on. Very tragic, one of probably the most somber moments in the history of the culture. And I noticed that when I shared your joint today, now, he was on the track Out of the Moon. Now, were you in the studio with him, or was that just something that Death Row put together, like added his vocals on the already laid down track?
We definitely was in the lab. That was definitely a monumental moment. The reality of it is the record was already cut, and Snoop decided to ask Pac if he, to play the record for Pac, and he wanted to get on. So, we was right there in Can-Am Studios, man, and I'll share this just as a testament to the man's work ethic. I seen Pac write 3 verses in maybe like 15 minutes, and he laid down, I think, 2 of them, and he told him to pick the best one. And then he left the studio and went into his own studio to finish recording whatever he was working on, then left from there to go film a movie or whatever else he was working on, all in a day's work, bro.
God, dog. I mean, that dude was, I tell you one thing about it, man, that dude's work ethic was legendary in terms of what he was doing, man. I mean,
unrivaled. So, I mean, I definitely wanted to share that because that was one of the big moments. I remember coming in the booth after I think we were working on another record, and he had left the verses in there. But I wanted, I was fan, and I was like, man, I need to go ahead and take this as a memento. You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, I ain't gonna touch that man's work. But if Pac was like that, you could tell when he had been in the booth because it was lyrics laying all around. But nah, that was definitely dope.
Now, with his passing, and this over 20 years later, 23 years later, since, he's left us, and we talk about his impact on the show, and we're even more honored when we are able to talk to individuals who actually interacted with him. Ted, what was his impact in terms of how he impacted you as an artist, how he impacted the West Coast, and how he impacted hip-hop as a culture?
Well, he definitely changed the course. I mean, that just goes to show from his the course of hip-hop after his passing, how everything, shifted. And it hasn't been that big of a shift since, unfortunately, the untimely passing of Nipsey Hussle most recently. I felt kind of a similar shockwave that I felt when Pac passed, but you have these spirits that that you have the privilege of coming in contact with that are just strong forces. Like Pac was a strong force, Nipsey was a strong force. He had very solid energy when you was around him. What that was the impact, the fearlessness and just understanding that you only got one opportunity to live. Live your life, man. Get it done. Tomorrow's not promised. Those guys showed that, and it also reflects in their accomplishments. It reflects in their works that they left behind.
And I think also too is that a lot of people really don't understand. For the cultural impact. Of course, Pac, pretty much, had such an indelible impact left. And, of course, Nipsey, pretty much in terms of that same trajectory, because both of them really became, kind of, that embodiment of, the black man. I think Nipsey expanded on it because Nipsey actually, owned, had his own company, and had really, came from where he was to literally, out on Crenshaw, shout out to the 60s, and really built it up from the ground up, to the marathon, So this was a man that really understood what it meant to not only start your business, but to have, ownership in your business in terms of really understanding all aspects of what it meant to hold on to it. And I think Nipsey set the new brand. I think he set the standard for, I think, where a lot of artists should aspire to in terms of not only being fiscally and business astute, but also maintaining and still spreading the message of what is going on in the hood and how we have to come together as people to really build something solid for future generations as well as the present.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But, you know, you being an elder statesman now, you know, from, you know, 20 years ago, did you know that you would have, you know, that you would make the impact the way that you did in terms of, you know, you can look back, look at the history you made, the people you worked with, and say, wow, I did all of this. Did you ever think from years, you know, from then to now, you know, that you were really going to be recognized as one of the, you know, West Coast best?
Nah, I can't say that I did. You know what I'm saying? And even at this particular point in time, man, we got so much ground to work to cover. You know, if it, you know, if it be the will of the Creator, you know what I'm saying? We still got a lot more ground to cover. But I can say this: anything that you speak into existence, anything you speak on can and will come into existence. So, you know what I'm saying? I used to say that, you know, when I was a youngster, I used to want to be on TV. I remember when I forget the kid's name, man, Chris somebody, the first host of Rap City, and I used to be like, yo, I'm gonna be on there. Well, I want to be on there.
Chris Thomas.
And then one day we was on there. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to rap. I rapped. I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be in the source. I wanted all that, and it came to fruition just from us putting the work in. So anything that you want to do, you will do. I was a firm believer of that as a youngster. So anywhere that we came into the game, I felt we were supposed to be there because that's where we worked to get to, you know. And that's just something that I share because you know, it's just as sure as you putting one foot in front of the other. Anything that you really want to do, you're going to do, period. Now, the level of it, you know, we'll never know how high you can go, but, you know, nonetheless, you will get there.
Most def, man. And throughout that progression from being on Doggy Style, from rocking with Hoo Bangin to rocking with BlackWallStreet, now you doing this thing for Dolo, the independent grind. And do you care to tell the masses about what you've been up to lately with the Beach Wavy series?
Yeah, Beach Wavy is I'm one of those dudes, man. I kind of get up and I bust a freestyle for breakfast type thing, just to stay on my craft. You know, for the MCs that's out there, I know y'all know, man, you constantly coming up with ideas in your mind. I don't care if you're mowing the lawn or, you know, whatever you're doing in the grocery store, if you're at your job, whatever. If you're an MC, it's always something. You're going to see something, you're going to hear something, something that's going to remind you to rap or put some words together poetically. And so when we speak of the Beach Wavy series, that's how that becomes. That's how that came, you know. I was doing a lot of different random freestyles, just not necessarily working on albums or songs, but just staying up on my craft. So for everybody that check out the Beach Wavy series, that's just kind of like a collective of rhymes out of my rhyme book or just things that I heard a beat and came up with something on the spot to. So they're literally like freestyle music. There's no real format to it. But that right there is just me warming up to get back in album mode. We got a project, Blacklist 2, Techniec and L's. That'll be coming to you soon. We just shot the video for the first single called Can I Live, featuring a kid named Blue. A lot of people know him from Blue in Exile. He's an MC too. That's out of San Pedro, which is right across the way from Long Beach. So I got that record with him.
Yeah, Blue is dope.
Yeah,
for our listeners out there, for our listeners out there, if you have never heard, Beneath the Heavens, Blue in Exile, that was released in 2007, if you have not heard that album, please pick that up. Your ears will thank you. Your soul will thank you.
Definitely, man. Blue definitely amongst the elite, and I'm an underdog, man, so I love, tapping in with the underdogs, man, and trying to create some beautiful art. So I think that this Can I Live is kind of like a merger of both worlds, from, where Techniec come from on the east side of Long Beach to where Blue represents, represent L.A., because San Pedro is just kind of like South Los Angeles, you know what I mean? But, he did a lot, he do a lot of work in L.A. and whatnot, and he's real notable amongst the underground hip-hop scene. So shout out to Blue, shout out to Exile. The Techniec and L's record is definitely coming soon. We also got a single for the car enthusiasts and anybody that's out there working on their projects. It's already out and streaming. It's called Posse Up, which is a remake of the Sir Mix-a-Lot. It's a Techniec clip of that
Broadway.
Record. Word. So we got that one, man. And I mean, y'all gonna love the visual when we drop it, because we really hit the car scene heavy, and really I even got one of my pieces in there that I'm working on. I got a 89 box Chevy Brougham on right now, it's sitting on 26-inch rims. We just putting it together piece by piece. I think I'm gonna bump up to some 28. So everybody that's on the scene know what I'm talking about. But we got these records, man, that's gonna create the soundtrack for these movements that I'm, that I'm vested in personally.
Definitely, man.
That's what's up, man.
Not only that, let me just conclude as far as on the independent side, right? So as we create this blueprint for using Block Rebel, and I put my material out independently, we also got our doors open for any artist that's trying to create their brand. Any tutelage that I could give them from my end, if I feel that they dedicated to it, we got tools and resources. We pretty much then created our own infrastructure. I work close with our True Group, which is a creative studio, and man, we just build, man. We just build.
That's what's up, man. It's a great thing to see brothers that come from your era and still doing their thing 20 plus years later, still grinding it out, still taking the fruits that the business give out and create lemonade for it. So that way everybody else can eat. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. Hey, man, this thing is beautiful, man. Like I say, it used to be a lot of smoke and mirrors, man, but it's the revelation of God at this particular point. Everybody's going to be who they going to be, you know what I mean? And the real going to always stand the test of time, man. This shit is real life, man. We ain't caught up in no hype or no facade, man. We just really out here living it, building it, you know what I'm saying? Raising our babies up to be greater than we possibly could ever be. I got a college student, man, and, send a couple other great guys that's coming right behind him. So, man, we just grinding, man, and the game is more beautiful than it's ever been, because it's out the bag now. Like, even speaking of Nip, he gave you the blueprint on how to do it. Keep grinding, run your marathon, do your laps, do your thing, you know what I'm saying? So that was beautiful for the newer generation to know that, we don't got to wait on nothing. We could be as great as we want to be.
That's what it is, man.
I'm even taking some notes out of those books, man.
You should be bringing them composition pads.
Yeah, on the real.
The black and whites.
Yes, sir. But nah, man, y'all tune in, man. For the listeners, man, at Techniec, that's TECHNIEC. Right now we on the cuffs of really dropping a lot of material. Again, as of today, Crooked Eye just dropped and got me starring in that thing. And that's brought to you by our True Group and Cali World Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And we got Posse Up on the way. Can I Live coming? We got King Sag, which is my little bro. He got a project coming out. Real in the Field is now streaming everywhere. So everybody go check it out, man. Just stay tuned. And at this particular point in time, I'm cracking my votes open. I'm gonna be giving y'all a lot of material.
For sure. Oh yeah, I just wanted to tell you that Die For Radio also gave you a shout out as well. I was doing a little Deion Sanders double duty, which is probably why y'all was hearing me talking over the phone. But we was plugging the show too both ways, because we trying to get this internet platform, underground platform bubbling, so that way cats like you can still get y'all shine and get y'all perks in.
Hey, it's an honor, bro. On the real, anytime, bro. Tap in with me. We could even work on put some things together to take it to the next level, bro. I'm here for it.
Definitely, man. Look, we appreciate you so much, man. Look, we thank you for the motivation. We thank you for the history. We thank you for the inspiration. We thank you for your courtesy, your generosity, and most important, your friendship. It is so much appreciated, man. We really, really appreciate having you on. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely gonna keep in touch, bro. So we
definitely
following each other on the ground. So we're gonna definitely build off this.
Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna keep it out there, man. So I'm paying attention to what y'all posting. We're gonna make sure we get it out there in the universe.
Definitely.
For sure,
no
man.
Doubt,
but yeah,
man.
we about to
off the cuff, man, and everybody out there that's tuned in. Shout out to everybody, man. Tap in, TCHNIEC. We alive and well. We grinding hard, man. We building. We accept y'all feedback and everything, man. So just tune in. Let's bubble.
Most definitely.
Man.
Holla back.
Yeah.
All right, 100.
100, man. Be safe. Thank you again.
All right, we about to sign this show out for the night. Be sure to check us out Sunday evening. We're going to be having Rusty Jukes from the Duckdown Squad in the building. We're doing double duty up in here, y'all. We had a Tupac tribute and Techniec on the same show. So, we doing triple duty. So, check us out Sunday night. Big shout out to everybody that was tuning in, being patient with us. Big shout out to Die For Radio. I had to do a little double duty, like I said earlier, letting y'all know that I'm trying to be the Deion Sanders of this radio game. So I'm trying to get my primetime statistics up. So check us out Sunday night. Y'all know what it is, 9 p.m., 6 Pacific, 8 Central Time.
Yeah. On that note, we out of here.
Cheers.